Welcome to Horrify Environment. If you are new here, you can subscribe our channel. We upload daily horror videos. There stood a house that cast a long, menacing shadow over the town, which was a peaceful community tucked away among rolling hills and shaded woodlands. This was no ordinary house. Rather, it was the notorious Haunted Mansion, its crumbling exterior veiled in mystery and terror, that towered over the town. According to legend, the home was cursed, and the ghosts of those who met terrible ends inside its walls roamed its halls. Stories of spooky appearances, spectral murmurs, and unexplainable occurrences have proliferated throughout the community, particularly on Halloween evening when the curtain between the worlds was believed to be the thinnest. A group of courageous friends, Lily, Sam, Max, and Emily, dared each other to spend the night at the Haunted Mansion on Halloween, despite its terrifying reputation. They embraced the challenge, fueled by curiosity and a spirit of adventure, without realizing the horrors that lay ahead. On Halloween night, the four friends gathered outside the imposing gates of the Haunted Mansion as the sun sank below the horizon, creating an orange glow over the town. As they shot uneasy looks at each other, the air was heavy with anxious energy and expectancy. Gathering courage, Lily, the group's self-declared leader, took the lead, opening the creaking gates with a shaking hand. As they entered the overgrown yard, the sound of crunching dead leaves beneath their feet reverberated through the silent night, causing the rusty hinges to creak in protest. The mansion towered over them, its windows gloomy and menacing against the starry sky. Their sensation of unease increased with each step they took closer, yet the excitement of the unknown propelled them forward. A chilly breeze blew through the enormous foyer as they stepped inside the home, sending shivers down their spines. The smell of neglect and decay pervaded the air, and the silence was overwhelming. With a hard swallow, Sam could hardly speak above a whisper. "Are we really doing this?" Lily gave him a steely glance, her eyes glimmering with willpower. "Recall the agreement we made. There's no going back now." The party nodded nervously and continued exploring the mansion's murky chambers and dimly lit hallways. A crumbling dining room with cobwebs hanging from the chandeliers like eerie decorations, a dusty parlor with broken furniture, and a meandering staircase that seemed to go nowhere were just a few of the rooms that each carried their own secrets and nightmares. Odd things started to happen as the night went on. Disembodied voices murmured from the shadows, objects moved on their own, and the air seemed frigid in certain places. The gang persisted in their mission to learn the truth about the Haunted Mansion in spite of their mounting apprehension. However, the entire horror of the mansion became apparent as midnight drew near. They discovered a secret chamber buried in the shadows in the basement. With a loud thud, the door closed behind them as they entered, sealing them within. They were desperate to find a way out as panic shot through their veins, but the walls seemed to shut in around them, engulfing them in darkness. Horrible screams for assistance resounded throughout the room, but there was no way out of the haunted home. Abruptly, a phantom woman with sunken eyes and a sorrowful cry appeared in front of them. She told the terrible story of the betrayal, greed, and unimaginable tragedy that had occurred in the mansion's past. The mansion once housed a prosperous family that succumbed to their own greed and aspirations. They had sealed their doom and cursed the mansion for eternity in their quest for power by striking a bargain with unseen dark forces. Lost in an endless circle of suffering and hopelessness, the agitated ghosts of the family and their victims now prowled the corridors, and the same fate would await those stupid enough to trespass on Halloween night, condemned to spend eternity in the dark with them. The gang shook in terror as the eerie apparition disappeared into the shadows with one last, spine-tingling scream. The mansion started to tremble and creak as the clock reaches midnight, with the sound of its crumbling walls collapsing in on itself. The gang suddenly found themselves outside the mansion's gates, with the sun rising on a brand new day, in a blinding burst of brightness. The ghostly mansion had been reduced to ash and dust, its dreadful heritage reduced to a mound of debris. The gang promised themselves they would never talk about their terrifying experience as they headed back to town. However, they knew deep down that the Halloween haunting would follow them for the rest of their lives, serving as a terrifying reminder of the evil that hid in the shadows.